I know there are those that would disagree, but it is my conviction that everyone, whether they count themselves religious or not, is trying to atone for or cover their failures. And nothing that you will ever be able to do will be enough. Get your coffee. My observation is that virtually everyone is trying to be better than they are. That's not to say that some people have not given up on this endeavor. They have, but as a general rule, people recognize that they aren't what they could be or what they should be. Of course, it is not often that we are comfortable enough with other people to let down our guard such that we acknowledge our deficiencies openly. But we all have them. And when we are alone with our thoughts, we acknowledge, at least internally, that we could be better. I was recently interviewing a licensed clinical social worker for a course that I was taking on psychotherapy, and she was sharing with me that the COVID isolation has caused an increase in mental health issues. I think we all have seen this to one extent or another, but she made the comment that people are having a hard time in the isolation, sitting alone with their thoughts. I think that's exactly what I'm talking about here. When we are alone with our thoughts, we begin to realize we could be more honest. We could be more ethical. We could be more disciplined. We could be more kind. We could have more self-control. I could have said that thing in a better way. I should have dealt with that person differently. On and on the list goes, and it weighs upon us, the recognition that we are not what we could be, the realization that we fail at much more than we wish we would. We can find ourselves wrestling, as the Apostle Paul seemed to describe in Romans 7, with the mindset, the good things that we want to do, we don't do, and the bad things that we don't want to do, that's what we do. So we end up trying in whatever way we can to either cover our weaknesses and failures or to in some way atone for them. Atone, that's not a word that we use much in 2021. It means to make appeasement for or to purge and remove what is wrong. It is as if you have a terrible dark stain on your favorite shirt and you're trying to remove the stain, but there just isn't any way to do so because, like it or not, it's as if you're trying to clean the stain while having dirty hands. So nothing you can do will remove the stain or appease your conscience. Ultimately, this is where religion comes in. Religion is our best efforts, whether sacred or secular, to try to purge the stain. And I say sacred or secular because some religions are of the traditional sacred sort. They involve confession and prayer and penance, good works, sacrifice, to try to deal with the stain and to appease the conscience. But then there are the religions of the secular sort. These ones try to purge the stain through sacrificial good works as well, and then maybe meditation and mindfulness. Or sometimes the stain requires therapy, or some people try to deal with it, the shame and the guilt, through self-medicating efforts, be it through substances or obsessive habits. And then there are the other secular religions that try to deal with the stain by pretending that it doesn't exist or concluding that there will be no judgment for such things and that you had no ability to not do them because everything is determined. On and on it goes. At this point, if you've stuck around this long, you might be feeling a little down on yourself and you might be asking, what is the point of all this? Well, there is a point. Two of the first evangelistic missionaries of the Christian faith, they set out to carry the message of Christ to the world of their day. And as they spoke to a group of people in Acts chapter 13, they said to them, "Let it be known to you that through this Jesus is preached to you the forgiveness of sins. And by him, everyone who believes is justified from all things from which you could not be justified by your religious efforts." There are two words there that are essential, very, Very important. The first is forgiveness of sins. And then the second is justified from all of the things that you couldn't deal with on your own. This is the good news of the gospel, which brings peace and rest through Jesus. Through Jesus is proclaimed the forgiveness of sins. Sin is all of those things that weigh upon you and plague your conscience, all of those things that you know that you've thought, said, or done that are in opposition to everything that is right, true, good, and beautiful. Through Jesus is forgiveness, pardon, release from the penalty for all of those things, and justification, that is to be made right and pure and righteous. And how does that happen? Everyone who trusts in him is forgiven and justified. Something to think about. We'll see you next time.